I'll step down, and then.
Good,
And then
Todd.
hello.
All right.
All right, it's showtime, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Good morning, everybody. Uh, Thanks for having us again. It is our October 2022 monthly construction update. Believe it or not, 2 years since Todd and I got out here. 2 years and a month, roughly.
I got here a month before him, so I've been
Yeah.
2 years, 2 months. But
Yeah.
who's
So,
counting?
yeah, details. Um,
Details.
Thank you for coming out, and we'll give you our monthly update and answer any questions you may have. As always, feel free to raise your hand, shout them out, throw stuff at Todd. We'll be in good shape.
It tests my reflex skills, so
Yeah.
I'm all good with it.
Yeah. For those that don't know me, I'm Sean Bluebaum. I'm our senior project manager for the project. You got Todd Ganter, who most of you know, our senior project superintendent, and we brought our newest team member, Lisa, to the presentation today, and she'll introduce herself in a few minutes. So, all right, as always, this is the rendering. This is what we're building, or at least what we're striving to build, and this is what it looks like right now. This is as of October 4th, so getting pretty close to looking like the picture. We are 100% roofed and dry everywhere, and pretty much working on the interior of all the buildings except for this area right here that you can see. And I'll let Todd give you an update as we go through the videos and pictures as to where each building is at. But we're making some significant progress, so we're pretty happy about that. As always, we start with the safety share, and then we'll go to our project overview, some current photos, talk about upcoming work, and then answer any questions and answers. And like I said, you can shout those out at any time, really. So, with that, and all of these slides are our current drone pics as of the 4th, so yesterday, as we scroll through these
Hot off the
header
press.
slides. That's right, hot off the press. So we'll start with our safety share, and I'll give you to Lisa for that.
Hello, I'm Lisa. I recently joined Sundt last month, and I thought it was really important to highlight the top 10 violations on all construction sites nationwide so that we had a good understanding of what could hurt us. Lack of fall protection, improper or mislabeling of hazardous materials, unsafe scaffolding, failure to use or provide respiratory protection, violations of forklift safety rules, improper control of hazardous energy, commercial, thermal, electric, unsafe ladders, electrical hazards, lack of safeguards around machinery, and faulty electrical system designs. So these are just some of the top 10 nationwide that get us in trouble. So,
We've talked a little bit before on this one on ladders. We actually have trades. We have one in particular that has a no ladder policy unless you absolutely have to have it. It's something that most of us have used in our daily lives, and is probably one of the most dangerous things that we all touch is a ladder. So, pretty interesting.
So the construction accident statistics I found to be really alarming. And it was 1 out of 5 employee-related deaths in the U.S. due to construction, or in construction, 1 out of 5. I thought that was extremely high. About 60% of construction-related deaths are due to falling objects. So no wonder we wear hard hats. Anyhow, the second cause of construction-related deaths is from falling off the ladders, scaffolds, heights, obviously. And approximately 1,061 workers died per year as a result of the falls. So,
So that's why. So all these statistics on deaths are why you've heard us talk about sticky stuff that can kill you. So Sundt's focus in the past couple of years is not just on preventing people from cutting their finger. It's actually how do we get those numbers to go down industry-wide, right? And what you've seen over the past 20 years is the first aid accidents and things like that have gone way down, but the fatality rates have stayed pretty static in our industry. And so there's a big focus within Sundt and within the industry on improving these numbers, because these just shouldn't happen, right? Yes, sir.
What would Sundt's numbers look like?
You have
Well,
to take
to our next screen.
it.
This is
So-
what Sundt does.
So from a number standpoint, we have what would be considered from a they call it the modification rate, but we have a world-class rate. We're a 0.27 is what our number is. To put that in perspective, essentially anything below like a 0.5 would be considered best in class worldwide. So our numbers are really, really good. As far as fatalities, the last fatality we had was
San Diego.
in San Diego. Eddie Lopez. He was a concrete employee, and he fell off a column, essentially, while he was tying bar. And that was, what year was that? 2013? I was going to say, 12 or 13. So about 10 years ago was our last fatality.
I think previous to that, the last person that we had a fatality of a Sundt employee on a job was like 18 to 20 years before that. So
Yeah, so we are, we've actually won more AGC National Safety Awards than any contractor in the country. So we've got 3 grand awards, I want to say, which is the top safety award that a commercial contractor can get. So our numbers are very good, but again, until it's 0, it doesn't matter, right? You're always trying to get better at that. So our latest push is to stop the sticky, right? Let's really, really focus on anything that can actually be a fatality. Get down to what matters, right? Go ahead.
Okay, so Sundt's methods of prevention performed by Sundt are, we have a full-time safety manager on site, and I believe you met him last time you were here. His name is Jason. And this gentleman performs a lot of duties all day long to protect us, and he's relentless. He performs weekly walks with the subcontractors and our staff every Friday morning. We go through buildings and we point out things, and he points out things, and he teaches us and he educates us and the subs on site to keep us safe. We're always catching a little something. Proper PPE is very important to us and to everyone on site. We try to make sure that every single person on site is aware that, hey, you forgot your glasses. Where's your gloves? Your chin strap's not strapped. So Jason points that out to everybody, and so do we as employees, because it's everyone's responsibility at Sundt to stay safe and keep everyone safe. He always brings to the table every week at the beginning of every meeting something that has gone wrong or something that he caught or stopped. And so he's continuously educating us as a team. He has the authority to stop work when he witnesses some type of violation. And this can be kind of uncomfortable at times. He comes back and shares what went on, and it's an uncomfortable position sometimes. I wouldn't want to be Jason. So safety is just basically everyone's responsibility. And one of the reasons I wanted to become an employee of Sundt is because they keep the tidiest, I'd say, ship that I've seen in construction in the last 10 years that I've been on job sites. They are organized. They have full-time safety managers, and they take it extremely seriously, and that makes me feel safe. So,
nice.
and this is me, and this is why I work at Sundt. This is why I work safe. And Noah is my son. He's 22 years old. I recently moved here after growing up in Southern California for the last lots of years. And I came to work here last month, and my father actually retired from Sundt. He was here 15 years, and he retired several years ago, the first time he retired. Anyhow, he actually absolutely loved this company, and I fell in love with hearing about it over the years. And one of his prides was telling us about how many safe days he had and the big barbecue he was going to throw for everybody on the job site, the subs, his employees, everybody that he worked with. And they took a lot of pride in senior management, keeping everyone safe year to year, year in and year out. Like, we haven't had an accident or a death in so many years. that's incredible. So we're all very aware of what's going on at all times on site. My husband, JP, we just got married a month ago as well, right before I moved. So I've known him half of my entire life since we were in our 20s. We were actually best man and bridesmaid in our best friend's wedding 30 years ago. So it's pretty cool that we reconnected and absolutely super happy together. And he'll be here in a couple months. So excited about that. And this is my family. I come from what I call big fat Italian family. I have a stepmother and a mom, and they're both Italian, so I didn't get to do a whole lot as a kid. So I have 9 brothers and sisters. I'm actually one of 9, and we have a bunch of grandkids, and most of them are boys. So my dad got gifted with 5 girls, and he always wanted a boy, so he got to raise me like a boy, so hence the boots. So basically, we have a football team of boy grandchildren. Every single one of his daughters was not allowed to have a girl. So we only had boys. No matter what we did, still boys, all boys. So that's my family. That's my life.
Perfect.
So,
Lisa, you want to tell them just a little bit,
thank you.
for sure. Tell them what your role is and kind of a little bit about what you do.
Okay, I am a field engineer here at the Royal Oaks. I work with Todd on the D building on your new bougie lounge, and I assist the team in any changes, any questions. I'm out in the field with Todd, catching things that we might need to adjust or move or tweak. I work in the office with the team, making sure the plans are right, to making sure that it's going in well on site. So I basically do whatever they need to assist the build and make sure that it's going up properly.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa, and welcome.
Awesome.
Welcome.
We're,
Thank
we're
you.
happy to have
Well
her. Interesting side note, Lisa's heard me say this a bunch of times, but I just think it's super cool. 19 years ago, my very first interview at Sundt was with her dad. So when I
And
saw
she
her,
gets to hear this again, too. 21 years ago, my interview was with her dad.
yeah, that's right. You see
They've
how
been
he's
very
a
nice.
one-upper there? You see how that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Jeez.
So let's get into some project overview update. We'll start with the drone videos. Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Repeat the question.
So the question was, how do we handle concerns over hearing and noise in construction with our employees? I assume is what you're talking about. You want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So depending upon what the task is, well, actually every task when we start a day, we go through what's called a task hazard analysis, a THA short for us. And it's to go through and identify, A, what are we doing? B, what tools are we doing? And C, what safety measures do we need to implement for this? Whether it is fall protection because we're working at heights, or if we're cutting objects that make a lot of noise, we're over 80 decibels, and what's the prolonged duration that you're exposed to, your exposure limit on that? And so those kinds of things that we bring into early on before we even start work at 6 o'clock in the morning, we go through a task of what all those entail. And that would give us the indicator of, hey, I'm building metal framing in a building, I'm cutting with a chop saw, I'm doing it all day long, I'm exposed to over 80 decibels, I should be wearing ear protection. So hearing, so either muffs or earplugs, one of those two are suitable devices to help do that. So the intent is that if we're going to be into a loud noise, whether we're jackhammering, chipping, cutting, depending upon what we're cutting, if we're in a area where there's torches and things of that sort, any kind of metal work, banging, those kinds of things, they're all identified in our task hazard analysis, and ear protection is required. Does everybody do it? No. Some guys think, oh, it's just a couple minutes and it's a task, but sometimes those couple minutes of repetitive noise throughout the day can cause damage. So it's our responsibility as managers when we're out walking the job site. Some of us have apps on our phone. I don't. I've just been doing it long enough to know if it's going to cause my ears to hurt. I'll just stop the guy and go, hey, let's get some hearing protection in here. And he's like, oh, that's probably a good idea. So it's everybody's responsibility to make sure that we're watching every person out there, but we do go through and do a detailed analysis every morning of what kind of safety procedures are required.
I would say, and it's a great answer, I'll add on, it's a really good question because it's the one thing that they haven't mandated yet in our industry, right? Glasses are mandated, and gloves, and boots, and all of these things. But the hearing protection has been more of a, if the task requires it. But I could see that coming down the road in the near future.
It easily will, because
Yeah.
last year we switched over to a new style of hard hat, the cask hard hat, or
Mm-hmm.
what's the other manufacturer? They're more of like a rock climbing helmet. So we're all required to wear chin straps now. So if we wear the old safari style like I have, or the newer style that Sean prefers to wear, the newer style has attachments for clip-on ear protection. So they're like earmuffs. They look like guys that if anybody comes from the Northwest, been up in the chainsaws areas, those kind of style of safety. Those are some other attachments or accessories that come out on hard hats. So
It's a good point. You'll probably see those. We've been slower in this country to adopt those, but they look more bike helmet-y, and they have the chin straps so that if you trip and fall, if you fall off a ladder, our old hard hats would come off and then people hit their heads, right? So the idea is that it's more of a bike helmet scenario where if you fall, at least your head's still protected. So, and Todd's right. They have lots of cool guy attachments, including like a Star Wars-y flip-down thing that I like. It's kind of cool. I think it's cool.
it is cool. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. The funny part, not to get totally sidetracked on that, is how cool everybody thinks that we looked in our helmets before these came out. Like, oh, I can't wear those new ones. Those look ugly. Not sure what we thought the old ones looked like. But okay. You ready for the drone?
Born ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, here's the drone. We'll start with Inspirata Pointe.
All right. So I don't have to talk super fast because it's 4 minutes this month.
Yeah, a little slower.
We did some extra flight. So this would be the north side of Building B. You can see we're doing work on the screen walls. We've got to clean up the roof because it's kind of a mess. But we are getting the screen walls enclosed, which encloses the mechanical equipment up there. This is kind of a drone, the image over the top of the courtyard. So on the right is Building B. You're flying at Building C and Building D on the left-hand side. We're up there doing work inside the mechanical spaces. This happens to be the bridge connector between B and C. And we started some work down on the grade in the courtyard area. This is the west side of the job site. This is the west side of Building C. Again, we got handrail in there, a couple of metal panels that are in fabrication right now. Those close up those last few remaining entities on the outside. We're rasping foam and getting ready to put a synthetic finish on the screen walls. This is the north wing of Building D. We will be, we're all dried in, as Sean mentioned there. We're scaffolding coming around the building. You can see on this east elevation of D, scaffolding is full height. Getting ready to go ahead and start. We're doing a bunch of preventative measures in the outside, QC checks. This happens to be the south elevation of Building D, or the west wing that we call it. Fair amount of the scaffolding is gone. We're buttoning up the last little bit of stucco at a previous loading zone. And then the scaffolding is gone around this west side of the building. The north side of the building, we pulled most of the scaffolding down. You can see it's on the ground, and we'll be coming around the inside to scaffold that portion. So on the left-hand side, there's the ramp down to the garage to give you some perspective. And this is the south road in the lower left-hand corner. This would be the east elevation of Building E. So, and then we started stucco in this elevation today, which is the south elevation of Building E. And then we've got the bridge between D and E scaffolded now. So this is the fun building. We're up there doing the last little bit of roofing on the north elevation. We'll talk about some site work stuff we've done in a minute. We've going around and doing the last little bit of parapet trim, metal on the top of the roof line. We do have the air handlers here. We'll be setting those in the near future. Those reside in that mechanical well in the center of the screen. And again, there's the garage, the ramp down to the garage. And so we're getting ready to do some footings on grade to the right, and generally just a lot of work going on inside the building, the F building. There is the arcade, or what we know as the steel donut. Grading work will happen in there this week. And there's the south cul-de-sac. We did pave it since last month. That's finally behind us. Thanks for bearing with us. This is a quick fly of the South Road. So this is all the site work we've been doing for the last month. Gives us all the curb and gutter and the vertical curb on it. So you can see we've got parking stalls on the south side of building D there. You round the corner here, start heading north up the West Drive. There's some more parking stalls there. And then that's building C on the right-hand side there. And then as we tie back into phase 1 construction. So by right before Thanksgiving, we'll have the rest of the paving done. This is part of the paving we also did when we did the south cul-de-sac. So that's a golf cart parking. We just flew over the drop-off drive for building F. And just general site work. We got the grade cut, and we'll next week be doing the sidewalk, which is the tie-in of existing campus to new campus. And then this is the fly out from the arcade area back over the courtyard. That truck is sitting right where 2 water features will go in the upcoming months. And we've been grading out inside that space the last couple days. So we've done a lot of change in the last month as far as site work has gone. So,
Any questions? Yes, sir.
oh
Yeah.
man. Well, yeah, we knew. The question is with safety related was with the dust storm that just came through. How did we prepare for that? We knew about it 20 minutes before it came.
Yeah.
And of course, it had to happen. So we're working 6 to 2:30. So it rolled in at like 3:50 or 3:55. So 95% of everybody was gone. We did lose all the fence on the north side in the villas. So any villas members, we hopped out there as quick as we could to get the fence set back up. Glenn and I were out there. It fell, half of it fell over, and we set it back up again. But yeah, we did lose some material. I stayed around, walked various parts of campus, picked up some stuff. This one really did catch us by surprise. I think it even caught meteorologists by surprise. So typically what we, and I guess we took the literal meaning of the monsoon season's over a little too liberal, right? We do enact a lot of procedures of tying down lots of material. So I can tell you that nothing flew off the buildings at all. So there's material on all the roofs of the buildings. We didn't lose anything off of the top of the buildings. Now, what blew around was stuff that was on grade that we didn't have any weight on top of. We did lose some insulation inside campus, like 6 pieces. I think we lost a couple pieces of bendable form board up over the fence. But I think I think we've gone through and picked up everything. If we haven't, we need to take another sweep and make sure it happens. But yes, Jerry. Did we get a lot of dirt inside? Well, we're relatively closed up in buildings B, C, south half of D and E. We did get some. We can't stop 80-mile-an-hour winds with blowing dust. I mean, I finally got all the dirt out of my ears last night from being out there. So we did get some, but I can't quantify how much there was. So yes. Retention tank? Yeah. Yeah, so the question was, is all the water from the existing campus or from the new campus will be on the new campus side. So there is a very large underground system of storm drains that all lead to the very southwest corner of the job site. There's a 205-foot long, 8-foot diameter tank that's under that road there, and that's where all the storm drain water from this new campus resides. Other than there's some unique grade breaks right at the cul-de-sacs. So technically a little bit of the stuff we've paved does come into the new campus, but it's all been accounted for in the drainage calculations from the civil engineer. But I'd say 98, 99% of it does stay on the Inspirata Pointe side. So we did go through and dig lots of retentions between existing campus and new campus. So folks that are in those cul-de-sacs that have had to put up with us grading right outside your bedroom and living room windows, we apologize. It'll get done someday, and it'll be nice landscape spaces. But those areas have become retention volumes for storm drain as well, depending upon what the guidelines and the requirements that Maricopa County Flood Control had when they did the design review with a civil engineer.
Yeah, I'll add to that too. Civil works as a collective whole, right? So until all of it's in, it doesn't quite work exactly as it will, if that makes sense, right? So once it's all in, then yes, the 98, 99% of it will stay on the west side.
That is correct. So the question is what's happening on the north side of the fun building, up near the garden homes? Dirt keeps moving. So I call this the put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out process. So we have to bring dirt up to grade, so we put it in place, and then we have to dig foundation, so we take it out, and then we do our walls, and then we have to put it back, and then we have to go through and slide over a little bit, and then dig foundations for site walls, so we take it out, we lay the site walls up, and then we put it back. So it is truly the put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out process. So you're catching us right now in a take it out process, and within the next 2 weeks, yeah, it'll be a drainage swale just like there is around the villas, where there's various swales that have depression for storm drain water to go through. So when it does rain, it actually rained the day right after we paved, the Wednesday after we paved. Water did flow the way it was designed to, so yay, we built it correct. It did flow across the drive lanes through some scuppers, across where the golf cart parking is, and down in the retention area as designed. So we did get a good test. Glad it happened the day after we paved. So yes, sir. No. The question is, do we get any water in the basement? No. We've since cut the grade. Just when you come out of the ramp of the garage, we've cut the grade dramatically in there. So the paving section with the aggregate base course and the paving on top of it is a full 12-inch. So the roadway, as you see when you fly around with the drone, is the dirt grade's 12 inches lower than what the final paving section will be. That has really prevented any kind of water from getting down. And as designed, there's a trench drain at the bottom of the ramp, so when any water hits the ramp for the parking garage, it goes right to its designated spot. So, yeah, as far as rains go, we've been in great shape lately. So,
Good question.
and getting better every day with
Yep.
more and more grading. So, good stuff. What
All
do we
right,
got?
let's go to the Vita video.
Oh yeah, living La Vida Loca.
Yeah,
So,
this one's short.
yeah, we're a little bit shorter. So this is a flight. We're going to the east now. You can see 99th Avenue there. We've done a lot of steel work since then. The masons have demobilized. They've built their masonry walls. Again, this is just kind of a laydown area. You can see an iron worker standing up on the beam, welding off some joists, making some connections. We're doing a fair amount of steel detailing there. And then all the metal deck that goes on top of that is on site. It's sitting on the ground. What we do is we go through and it's called rack and plumb the building, so we get everything level, plumb, and square, get all the detailing done, and then we'll fly the metal deck up on top. The iron workers will be lion's share complete this week, and the next round of activities you'll start seeing in there next week will be our concrete forces. They're going to mobilize back out and get us ready for some almost back-to-back concrete
Slab.
pours for the slab on grade coming up the end of October. So. No. Oh, no. Yeah, it's.
We'll see what happens
Whoa.
when I hit the forward arrow.
Oh, man. Fingers crossed. Let's see if it works. No. Anything we pick up off the ground that's not with our arms, we call it flying it. It's just we use forklifts to fly stuff. With crane will fly stuff. We try not to use helicopters because they're extremely dangerous.
It would be cooler though.
It would be
if we
way
did it.
cooler. I'm not sure it would be safer though. Oh yeah, no. Hang out downtown Phoenix on the weekends. They fly a lot of mechanical units down there if you want to see stuff done by helicopters. But we don't have anything down here that cool. So, but yeah, we'll be putting the metal deck up there, and let's see what happens. Is it going to go?
No,
Start over. We thought we figured out a new plan.
No.
Anyway, I don't think there was much to talk about other than the fact that upcoming stuff we've got rolling here at the Vita Center is the slab on grade works or concrete. That kicks off us being able to do a bunch of our outside metal stud framing. We do have one more water line tie-in the south cul-de-sac, or the south, what was the south cul-de-sac. That will not interfere with any utility disruptions for Royal Oaks at all. That's going to be happening, I believe, the 12th of the month.
Dry wells.
Dry wells we're working on. We've been at the hands of some soil that doesn't want to cooperate. We've had some sloughing in of the excavation, so we've had to slurry it, and we're just having some challenges, but it's nothing we can't overcome. But other than that, that's pretty much what's going on for Vita Center over the next month. The big stuff will be slab on grade. We'll be able to get rid of all that rock that's there, and it look like nice, fresh, gray concrete with a handprint in it. Not yours? Oh, okay. I thought you were a joiner. No, okay, all right. So, any questions on the Vita Center? Great question. You thought this whole material challenge thing was going to be over? No. So we're having another meeting with SwimX. Unfortunately, we have to leave the entire roof structure out in order to fly with a crane, not a helicopter, with a crane. We're going to fly the pool in. And we were supposed to receive that on or about the 21st of November, and they decided to send us a "we don't like you" letter, and they told us that we're going to get it now the middle of January. Right. So does that stop everything in that area? Yes. Does it stop the rest of the building? No, it's still full steam ahead. Wherever we can get work done and built, and we'll work around it. I mean, that's just what we do. We have to learn to be flexible and nimble to get around those challenges. So it's not ideal, but it's not coming when we want it.
Yeah, they've said January, and we're trying to figure out if that means it's shipping in January, it's arriving in January, it's that beginning, the middle, the end, what exactly does that mean? So,
Which part of those 31 days is it coming?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we just got notified of that last week.
Yeah. Yep. New challenges all the time. So we got progress photos?
Yeah.
All right. What do we got?
So, month over month.
Cool. So,
So you can see a lot of the sites.
yeah, so here's some of the cool stuff. Oh, man, it's right behind the camera, right behind the south cul-de-sac's done. We did pave this. This is the drop-off loop. This is the golf cart parking. We have done an incredible amount of site work. So this is vertical curb. This is curb and gutter that goes down and around. None of that stuff was here. It looks pretty because it was right after we did some dust control. But since then, we've closed in the rest of the roof on the tie-in of D North to D West. This area got finished up. And other than that, from an aerial perspective,
It's got all roofed.
oh yeah, we did. We roofed the donut, we call it. So the arcade here, we got that roofing complete. And then these were just foundations for the 4 tree planters that are in here. Those are actual walls in place now. So it's not overly impressive, but I can tell you there's a lot of stuff that has happened out there. So a lot of grading work has happened inside the courtyard space in here that wasn't there last month. There's also some addition of some masonry walls in here that weren't there. They're short, 3 foot 2 high, little privacy walls there that kind of delineate walk paths in the courtyard. Awesome. So this is the south elevation of Building B on the right-hand picture here. You can see since we met last time, we've got handrails on the balconies. This is the bridge that goes over to Building C that is off the picture. And then obviously we're kind of buttoning up some of the rooftop screen wall. That happens to be the tile shower that's in Building C. We are done. We're through first and second floors. Are all through first floor on all the showers, and we started second floor on the showers, and then we'll be up to third in about a week and a half. So we're getting those things buttoned up as we go. Lots of interior work. I think you'll be able to see some more inside photos.
And I think
Did you
on this south side of B, Yeah, I want to say we still were finishing that face
Yeah.
last month too.
I talked about the little privacy walls. One of them's kind of hidden by the forklift
Yeah, you
here,
can-
but there is one that's visible here. We built the wall that kind of separates off the arcade area from the promenade, I think is what we're going to call it. I'm going to call it that in my schedule because it
Yeah.
sounds fancy.
Yeah.
So,
So B and C are clicking right along. We're heavy into the interiors on those. Here's some more shots.
yep.
They're all at various stages of drywall and tape and texture.
Yeah, so this picture on the right-hand side is building B looking south. This is a second floor unit. And then you can see that we've gone through and been doing drywall taping on this is probably the third floor of building C.
Gyp Creek.
Yep. So that's our next to texture. We textured first floor of C. Today's Wednesday. Yesterday we're texturing second floor today, and then we'll texture third floor next week. So
Yeah.
full steam ahead inside there.
Then you got paint, cabinets,
Yeah, we
most
start
weeks this point.
painting this week. We're starting installing all the doors on first floor this week. So lots of interior activities. So on the left-hand picture, this happens to be this masonry tower here. This is the stairwell that goes all the way down to the garage. The purpose of that picture is to show you that we placed the lightweight concrete topping that fills the stair pans. That got placed this last month. And then this is the east elevation. So this is a view looking west. The fun building is over here. Building E is over here. This is the east elevation of building D, fully scaffolded. We've got carpenters up on the scaffold right now doing our shim and trim process. So they're getting everything planed out, and within the next week we'll be turning that building white with foam and waterproofing systems. Start wrapping the windows, give another place for the glazer to go. He'll be sliding over there in about 2 weeks, putting all the windows in. So the picture on the left represents a lot of the behind-the-scenes in-wall plumbing. So not many, once you guys move in, you never see this stuff. It's all the hidden beauty. I call it hidden beauty because we spend lots and lots of man hours making sure it's coordinated with the cabinets, which is what this backing is in here. So this happens to be a kitchen. This is all the cabinet countertop backing that goes in. And so we put all that work in, the in-wall plumbing, electrical, waste and vent, sometimes RO water. All that stuff is inside the walls. Some of this happens to be some roof drain leaders and vertical soil waste coming from upper floors. I think this happens to be, I think, third or fourth floor actually, because the roof drain leaders come out of the deck up here. So this is fourth floor of building D West. Those are the roof drains. That's just a picture down the corridor, what it looks like. You guys will see fancy finished tile and beautiful finishes, but that's all the behind-the-scenes components up in the ceiling. All right. So we call this the steel donut over here. This is building F. Here is the water feature, 4 tree planters. This gets a really awesome array of colored concrete. That's going to be a nice, really great seating area once it's all done. Since then, we've gone through and we finished off this front face of the soffit there. That has all got finish on it. The underside has stucco finish on it. The scaffolding's in its way, so it doesn't really present itself for really great pictures yet. I promise you it'll be in next month's photos because we're going to tear scaffolding down beginning of next week. But this is what it looks like above the scaffolding. This was before it looks all white and pretty. This is what the preceding activities look like. So we have metal stud framing. We have a gypsum sheathing product that goes on here, and then the plasters do their several layers of synthetic finish on the ceiling. So.
Yeah, I thought this picture was especially cool. I put this in not because this guy doesn't have his hard hat on, but just because I think it shows a cool viewpoint of what it's like for these guys working up on those ceilings every day, right on top of the scaffold. They are working, by hand, troweling all that stuff on and getting those.
Yeah, I took about 5 minutes last week, and I just stood there, and I just was like watching an artist work. It was really impressive to watch a really good craftsman do plaster work because it's something, one, that I can't do. They have the dexterity and the mobility of their wrists and hands, and they're working overhead. Keep in mind that this picture might be slightly eluding. The reason why, For those of you that don't know, real quick, David Turner that you met a while back, David decided to join you guys and retire. And he moved back to Tennessee, which left us a little short for the superintendent side on the fund building. So I raised my hand and volunteered to take it over. So I am not only the senior superintendent over all the buildings, but this is really my baby to go ahead and get finished. So I walk up on the scaffold with these guys all the time, and the one thing that this picture doesn't quite represent is that gentleman on the right-hand side without his hard hat is about 5'5", maybe 5'6". I'm not, and it's really hard for me to get up there. So I'm a little lenient when these guys have to get underneath there and work as they're trying to work overhead and trowel this stuff. It's some compromising elevations. So these guys do go through a lot of hard work and a lot of unique positions they contort their bodies into. So, but it's really cool. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. And you can see his hard hat's right here.
Yeah.
Right where he was troweling. He just took a break over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a few more pictures of the fun building than the other buildings because there's some cool stuff going on in there. So.
Yeah, so this is a view from the casual dining space. There's a view looking north. This is where the bartender's going to be. You can see there's some rods that are hanging there. We're in the process of building all the substructure for the bar rack that goes over at the bar itself. And then on the right-hand side, we've got a lot of stuff done. We've got the kitchen hoods. We've had the kitchen hoods in for about a month and a half now. We're putting in the Ansel system, which is a fire suppressant system to it. We've got all the wall finish going on inside the kitchen, which is an FRP panel. And within the next month, we'll be putting flooring in. Ceilings start going in next week. So things are really taking a lot of great shape in there. On this right-hand side, this also happens to be the same scaffold that you saw just a minute ago in this picture. That view was from up here. This is the view from Building F. When you come in from the drop-off, you walk this way, and you walk right through those doors right out onto the breezeway. So this is we're in the lobby space there from where that picture is being taken. And the next picture goes ahead and shows some of the lobby space. So over to the right on this side is the drop-off. Over to the left would be going out to the breezeway. So that's the west wall of the lobby there, the tile work that's been going on. We've got drywall tapers in there doing the finish now. And then this happens to be the wall down in casual dining. So why does it look different? You just caught us midstream of grouting. This is all grouted. This is not. It's really, really epically awesome looking 3D tile. The design team picked out some amazing finishes in there. A lot of intricacies in there.
Yeah, I was going to point out that the tile, this is not just flat tile like what you would normally see. There's a lot of these that have depth and different changes in thickness, so they look really cool.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 other pictures that I wanted to put in, but I thought, well, we're going to run out of time if I put in all this stuff. So, but it's pretty neat. 23 different kinds of tile over there. So you've got all kinds of really, really high-end, high-level tile work over there.
Great place to sit and just look.
Yeah. As opposed to...
Well, let's get us
the
back to
garage.
reality check of what us construction workers like. So this is some of the basement stuff. There's behind those doors is a corridor. We call it Carter's Corridor. There's some storage spaces back in there. It happens to be below Building D. It houses this space on the right-hand side, which is the electrical room. I say D, sorry, my bad. Building F. This is below Building F, the fun building. This electric room feeds all of Building F. So this is where the main electric source comes in to the building and then goes up and distributes out from there. But that's all the work that not many people get to see, all the behind-the-scenes components, the electrical gear. On the ground on the right-hand side are transformers, and on the left-hand side are switching cabinets and distribution panels.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, sorry, Todd. The important thing about this picture, notice, as you can see, we're made up in a lot of these panels. So what that means is we've got wires landed, connected in the panels, and fed back into the building. So buildings can look really pretty and still not work if all that stuff's not on, right? So the electricians are making great progress. We've got permanent power to the site. Everything is localized to the meters at each individual building. So we're in really good shape electrically.
Yeah. Yep. All right, site work. So this happens to be a view looking south. Over here is the very south corner of Building C. This is the west wing of Building D. This is curb and gutter on this side. It'll be a vertical curb on this side. All the water flows to this side, and it flows from this vantage point. It actually flows into the picture further. The storm tank system is underneath here. It runs from down that corner to somewhere maybe in about this region. But that's where the underground storage tank is. And then on the right-hand side, this happens to be the vertical curb that we're doing. It happens to be some uncovered parking stalls on the south elevation of Building D. In the background is the south elevation of Building E in the background here.
What you'll notice about some of this, and you guys have probably noticed it in some of the videos, is once we get going with this kind of site work, these guys and gals can fly, right? They can do a couple 100, 200, 300 feet of curb if we get out in front of them. So Todd and Sierra, who's out there pretty much full time now, are doing a great job of getting everything cut out in front so we can get all this curb going. They can go as fast as we can let them, right? So
Yeah, between now and next month, we'll have all the HVAC running up and running in Building C and B. So all of this temporary power, overhead power, can go away. So that reduces another safety hazard for us. Plus, above grade poles are just not that attractive. So, all right.
couple of Vita shots.
Couple of Vita Center, yep. So as I mentioned earlier, it didn't quite get picked up in the drone, I don't think, but this happens to be all the metal decking that takes care of all this building. We'll get the slab on grade done underneath this side. I think our placement date's the 24th, and then we pour this on the 26th. And then shortly thereafter, we'll go ahead and mobilize back up. The iron workers still have some work that needs to happen over on this side. But we'll have that all grade by the end of next month. And other than that, I don't think much on the site is going to change. We'll finish up some of the dry wells by then, but that just takes care of a couple of plywood spots down that say hole. This would be the south elevation. This is the pool space. The SwimX space actually sits back behind here. It drops down minus 6.5 feet, but really great design of slot window system on the south elevation.
The windows sit back.
Yeah, so they'll create some really cool shadow lines on the building.
Shadow, yeah, it'll be really neat.
Yep. So this is intricate because it's a straight stack bond. It's usually instead of a half running bond where they overlap each other by half a block, they're a straight stack. So just a neat little architectural feature.
Yep. Todd's favorite dry well, right there.
Yep.
Collapsing as we speak.
Yeah, we've had some challenges there, but we're working through them.
So it's pretty interesting. So they've dug those, and the soil here is great because it drains like nobody's business. But what that also means is it sort of sloughs in and doesn't really cooperate when we're trying to dig just a cylinder hole. And so they've drilled them and they've filled some of them with slurry, and then that'll become basically a more stabilized soil that will then drill again. So we drilled once, and we'll see another drill rig come out here. That we're getting scheduled right now.
All right, and then this happens to be the south elevation. Off to the right-hand side of the picture is where the SwimX therapy pool sits. In the center there is the welder. That happens to be the main entrance to the building. So that's what it looks like. That's the framing structure of what it looks like walking up to the building. It's a little different now. We have finished the canopy or the eyebrow that comes out and clips onto these connections here. So that steel is out further now, and it's given it some more depth of a covered entrance. So very in the raw stages, but it's getting there. So upcoming work, I'll just run through them alphabetically because that keeps me on track. Building B, hot and heavy in here in the next month, doing drywall and tape and texture. We've been clicking through our county inspections in these buildings really well. Inside Building C, it will be full steam ahead with getting power, air conditioning, paint. Paint will be done in the next week and a half on first floor, and then 2.5 weeks on second floor, and then we'll be going into cabinets. And then once we get all the cabinets, countertops in, then we'll put the flooring in. So those buildings are getting real close. In Building D, we will continue to work around this outside facade, setting scaffolding. We'll start closing up the windows, doing all the waterproofing, making the outside of it white with Tyvek. Windows will start going in the next month. Let's see, the scaffolding on the south elevation of Building D West should be gone within the next month. Building E in the background, it did commence stucco operations at about 6:30 this morning, so they started spraying stucco on the walls up on the 4th floor. So when you guys drive down Santa Fe or Grand Avenue, you look over and you go, hey, that building was white yesterday. And if your wife's pulling the trick on you, don't fall for it, because it was white yesterday, it's going gray today. So we are going to change the color of it for a little while. It'll look gray for a few weeks, and then with these decently warm temperatures, we'll probably have about a week and a half, 2 weeks for the pH level to get down to the area that it needs to be, and then we'll go ahead and we'll paint it white again. Inside building F, it is going to be full-on taping, painting, tile work, and then in the next month we should have AC rolling in there, flooring in the kitchen, just about gearing up for installation of kitchen equipment, and then we will have all of the scaffolding down in the breezeway with all the overhead finishes done, and we'll start coming through there with a really neat looking, it's 2 foot by 4 foot tile slabs that go through there. So lots of neat, intricate finishes in there. Site work wise, we will not be paved until right before Thanksgiving, but you'll start seeing more stuff like the sidewalk that is along here, that'll start going in. More grading inside the courtyards. There's a couple more masonry walls. There's one on the west side of C. There's a couple on the north side of B. There's a few that are around the back side of building F. Those will take shape and get buttoned up, and then we'll come around with some sidewalk around other areas, and then there's a lot of work that's going to happen inside the donut here. We will also pick up the meandering sidewalk that ties Inspirata to existing campus. So that's kind of what's happening site work with.
Masonry wall is on the west side of building C.
Can you, what is the masonry wall on the west side of building C? So that one is right here. It is a T-shaped wall. It's approximately, well, it actually runs from this column to this column. It's about 3 foot high. It is it's a sandblasted masonry unit, so it's a decorative integral color block, and it'll have a concrete precast cap on top of it. It's, again, it's only about yay high, just for kind of a privacy and sort of just to keep people from walking up to your patio. They have to hop a wall to get there now. So, all right, any other questions? Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
He knows, Elmer, he knows what slide's next, because he's been to all of them.
Did Elmer help you put this slide deck together?
I think so. We are still tracking, I told you last month, and I believe the month before as well, about 60 to 90 days beyond what we originally had projected. So our original projections were end of November and end of March, and we're looking more like January to February and sort of May-ish as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, some of that, we still have some things up in the air. We have a pizza oven that's still in Italy that they're not done building yet because there's a part that they apparently can't get.
Tile?
So yeah.
From Italy.
From
Shocking.
Italy, yeah. So until that ships, we can't project when we can finish that room, right? They've told us we'll let you know when it ships, and then it'll be there 6 weeks later, right? So we have a similar issue. We talked about the SwimX pool. What was I just thinking about? We have the walk-in cooler. We're working through some issues there. Same type of deal. There's some parts that are difficult to get. So we're still working through some of those.
We're working through some various tile problems in the fun building that are Italian tiles as well.
Yep, some light fixtures that are scheduled to arrive around the first part of December. So all that is a whole bunch of detail. You put that all in a big bag, and what it comes out to is that, yeah, we think we're going to be in that January to February range. Well, we are trying to be conservative in what we're saying, but also realistic. But we'd like it to be shorter. We just have some factors that we don't have a lot of control over that we're just trying to deal with, right? So like with that pool, that was a nonchalant email last week. Hey, by the way, I'll be there till January.
Yeah.
So,
and the unique thing is that they're all kind of tied to the same phase. So buildings B, C, and F really all have to finish together. Are we going to be done with these buildings first? Yeah, because I mean we're starting to put cabinets in here in the next couple weeks, right? So But there's the problem with, I shouldn't say the problem, just the way that things are designed, there isn't a delineation between building C and building B when it comes to the fire alarm system, when it comes to the fire suppression system. They're all one system, so they all have to be done in order for us to get passing grade from the
And
inspectors.
even if they weren't, let's say they came in and fire-wise we were okay, well, the county permitted all this together.
Yeah.
So we've got one permit for this building, and this building. And so they can't close a part of a permit, right? And so we really have to have, missing a pizza oven here prevents us from occupying here, right? Because of the way it's all tied together. So that's why we're just saying, hey, it's 60 to 90 days, just carte blanche across all of them. Yeah, this building here, I mean, once we start doing cabinets, it doesn't take very long for us to finish those out, but it's, to Todd's point, they're all sort of tied. Yes, yeah. Yes, sir.
Even though you can't take occupancy like in C and D because of pizza, will we be able to go in, see visually what they look like at some point, and measure for grades and all that stuff?
So the question is, even if we can't take occupancy, will residents be able to go in and see their unit at a certain point to measure for drapes, furniture, things of that nature they might want to get? That's a question I would defer to Gretchen.
Yes. Thanks, John. There may be some opportunities as the date approaches, but it would be just before the date, and it would be after construction hours. But there may not be that opportunity until we take possession of the buildings as well. We won't know until we get much further along in the process.
Yeah, and I would add, we will work together with Royal Oaks and the county to, try to come up with some solutions along that. We want to make the move-in as seamless as possible. Certainly more seamless than it was at the villas, and we're working together to make sure that happens.
We have a question in the front row. We can't, and the reason being is because in order to get this, I don't remember the dimension. I think it's like 7 foot 9 inch diameter pizza oven in. It has to fit through one door and through one wall, and I can't build that wall until the pizza oven's in. And that wall happens to be the main cook line when you go out and grab your food because it has all the chilled walk-in or the chilled coolers underneath it. So it completely wipes out that whole line. So I'm actually in the process of building a schedule. I was doing it last night, and I'm finishing it up today to figure out what all that means. Because to me, it was pizza oven was supposed to be here this week. Bloop, it goes in, just that simple, because it's 4,000 pounds. And then we were going to do all of our connections, and right now it's kind of just turned my whole world upside down. But that's okay. I like the challenge. So I don't mean it's not okay. I wish the pizza oven was here because it would make life a lot easier for all of us. But I'm willing to take on the challenge to see how we get everything else built as fast as we can, and then build out that last little piece even faster. So. Yes, unfortunately, we cannot turn over the rest of the building without that pizza oven because it completely takes out that whole cook line. So, what's
Fly.
You'd be surprised how much stuff we are flying in because of delays. There's a lot of tile coming out of Italy that we're paying to get here. People are paying to get here to get on a plane.
Yeah.
So that's not out of the question. Unfortunately, we have something called the federal government that makes imports of said things like pizza ovens a little more complicated. So.
I will. That is a good point, though. We have, and Sundt is committed to doing things like flying things in, if it's possible to do, to try to speed up this process. We did a lot at the villas with the light fixtures, and we certainly will do that throughout to try to help things. But we, like Todd said, there's not everything is flyable.
Yeah. So. Yes, sir. Correct. There are on the, let's see.
That's the wrong side.
So the question is are there masonry walls on the ground floor units? So I can tell you there's, on grade, there's 2 walls below here. There are 2 walls on the back side here. There's 1 long wall here and 1 long wall on this side. So, all right. Yes, sir. Are we still using Halon and the Ansel systems? Uh, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I didn't go over and look at the jug I watched the guy. I took a picture of him pouring it in there, but I don't remember if it was Halon or not. I couldn't. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I did see him fill the jug, so I know we're getting close to starting up the test soon.
Any?
This is how tall the wall is. The wall's about that tall. Okay,
Yeah.
good. You climb away.
There we
Yeah,
go.
but it's open-ended, so you can go around. It'd be a lot safer.
Any other?
Any other questions? We'll take this as the one last question because we were told to stop at 10 o'clock, and I'm going to get shot from the back window. D&E in April or May. Yes, that is.
Yeah. So, like I said, we put a blanket sort of 60 to 90 days. Each structure is slightly different. D&E will all turn over together, and those would be, I think right now our schedule's projecting those in May at some point. But like I said, we're saying 60 to 90 days from the original. So the original was March 22nd. So yeah, you'd be looking at on the early into that in May.
All right. Well, folks, we hate to end it abruptly, but there's another function in here shortly thereafter, so we're going to get ripped off the stage. And thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.